What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Audio Critics. And we got another special episode. I'm Phil Punisher Collins, and I found this creep hiding in the shadows. It's Mrs. Kruger.
Hello again.
And she's back for part 3 of Nightmare on Elm Street. As you know, we're going to be reviewing the series. So we're going through all of them. So, obviously, if you have followed us so far, we've done 2. This is obviously 3. We're going in order.
Yep. No matter how terrible they are.
No, yeah.
Don't care.
That is true. After this one, we're going in some weird territories.
Better than the second one.
True. Anyways, Dream Warriors. I gotta say personally, before I get your little quick inputs on it, Part 3 is probably one of my favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Oh, at least the sequels, I gotta say. What do you think?
It's alright. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but it's better than the second.
True. Anyways, I love, first of all, like, I already said when we were watching the movie, at the beginning when she's creating the house and all that, like, I wish I had that kind of talent to create something like that. But I used to, I don't know if you ever did it in grade school, but you had like this pyramid thing, and it was like a piece of paper, and you had it folded together and make it look like a pyramid.
Yeah.
Mine always looked horrible. I always had to redo mine, and it barely stood up. But like the reason why it stood up was because of a whole bunch of glue. And that's how I feel like if I was creating what she was creating at the beginning of the movie, the house. It's like I can't draw either. Like I can draw stick figures, and that without no feet and toes or feet and fingers.
Yeah.
So I wish I had that kind of talent. But Kristin is obviously the main character of this movie because we get introduced to her first, and it was weird because. How did she know who Freddy was? Because what I'm led to understand the sequel is he only gets power over you if you know about him.
Well, it seems like none of these kids knew about him, but he came back for actual revenge, and he can't get the parents, so he's getting the kids.
But do you think it's like, let's say you had like a bad dream one night, like a really bad dream. And then, like, if you, like, that dream when you wake up, you're like, you're cold sweat or, maybe crying or whatever. Do you think that's kind of how he got his way into, like, he said his name a little bit there? Well, not really, but enough to see his face so you can get an idea of, like, oh man, the guy with the burnt face. And then he kept on repeating in the dreams. And
Well, see, the thing is, I don't think you necessarily need to know Freddy to get to your dreams because. In the very first movie,
yeah,
everyone was having those dreams together already, and nobody knew who he was. You don't need to know him. Now, once you do know him, if you're not being affected, you are now affected. Unless you're like a parent, for some reason he doesn't.
Yeah, that is weird.
Adults, he just so.
But eventually, she gets put into the mental ward for her being sleep deprived and. People, I can't remember what they were calling it, like post guilt something.
The lady was saying that it was their guilt built up and now it's coming out, but they were saying that it was like a group psychosis, and it's like, how could it be a group psychosis when they were having this before they were together?
That and like the same thing, obviously, like, if it was, like, a famous figure, like, if everyone was seeing Jesus, people could understand why you were seeing Jesus, but this guy with the burnt face, red and green sweater, and a hand with a glove, that's very, obviously, uncommon.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, now that we're not living in the movie, it would be common for somebody to have a nightmare about him, but obviously, in the movie realm, it's very awkward for that.
Yeah.
But what what was weird, and I said that I didn't realize how much her screaming and how often she was screaming. It was like every time, like she was screaming, when she got her wrist cut, screaming when she was they were about to sedate her, screaming when.
Talking about Kristin.
Yeah, Kristin. It was like almost every scene. I would say like 70% of her scenes were screaming. I'm like, geez, calm down. Like, how do you still have your voice?
They're just trying to add to the effect.
Yeah.
And at least, her scream was at least semi-genuine compared to some horrible fake actors.
Yeah, like something I would do. We talked about that. Like, I don't have a scream. And I try to practice, but you can't really scream until a moment like that happens. But I can tell you right now, it'd probably be a girly scream. Mm-hmm. Nothing against girls, but mine would be high pitched instead of how my voice sounds with a lot more bass right now. Anyways, obviously by this time you find out that Nancy's back, and maybe that's the reason why I like it so much, because they kind of bring Nancy back. And not to spoil anything for future movies, but the pills that she's taking is Hypnosil.
Yeah.
And in Freddy vs. Jason, that was a big part of the movie was Hypnosil. So it kind of brought it back in that movie. And so knowing what I know about the movies, it's cool knowing that it wasn't supposed to be an Easter egg, but now it's kind of an Easter egg. If you pay attention.
I think it's a little strange though, it's supposed to be a sequel, and I believe they said she said that it had been 6 years since this had been happening to her.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, we were told that she went insane, right?
Yep.
Initially, she went insane, and then apparently she went to school.
Mm-hmm.
So how long was she crazy and in an asylum before she went to school? Was she going to school while she was in an asylum like that? Timeline's a little off, but 6 years is a bit, and people don't spend necessarily a huge amount of time depending on their diagnosis and hearing stuff. But
yeah, it does seem a little soon, but they did say that she was pretty much green around the gills, pretty much like she was just like this new person just getting in the field.
Yeah.
So she could have literally just graduated. But the only thing that I don't understand is they said that she was making giant waves in the sleep community kind of thing already. But it's like,
well, you can do things while you're in school.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you would think that, she probably would well, I still need to finish and get that degree. Some people would be like, I'm already making changes, and But I will say, Nancy's a great character. The group therapy though was a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Kincaid, but I'm like the part that made me laugh with him was when they were going to try to sedate him. Motherfuckers ain't gonna sedate me. Y'all can kiss my ass. And,
this is going off, yeah.
But there was Joey. I wonder how hard it is to be in a movie and not have to talk.
Until towards the end.
Well, yeah, but do you, because you see all these other people talking and, some of the greatest actors, their monologues that they have, then you gotta be the character who doesn't say anything.
Yeah, but sometimes the strongest actor can just be by body movement and facial expressions.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to necessarily be words because, if you can present your feelings and emotions and people can feel that without hearing words, then you've done a good job.
Yeah. Technically, you gotta think about, Michael Myers, Jason, you gotta think also that they don't talk.
Yeah, but this game monsters.
Well, no, but you also they gotta portray being this, angry force without saying anything, where Freddy, I'm not taking anything away from Freddy, I'm just saying, sometimes not saying anything is powerful, all that, but obviously with Freddy, it's better with him because he is he has to feed on the fear, so to be able to do that, you gotta kind of be like that. You can't just be just walking outside, kill him. Um, Now, I feel Philip's, maybe this is because he's Philip, but his death, and we're going to talk about this, how unrealistic it would be for this happening in the movie, is when all his veins got pulled out. I was like, ooh, just looking at it, especially knowing that.
Yeah, but it should be happening in real life too, because anything Freddy does to you in your dreams is supposed to happen in real life.
Yep.
So that was a little off.
But
it was good. It was off.
It's definitely off because we've seen. Obviously from what's the girl from the first one?
Which one, Tina?
Tina, yeah. When she got killed, obviously you saw the scratch marks and all that. So obviously, yes, they should have been following.
Well, even in this movie though, like when he's in a coma and Nancy's talking to him and Freddy's carving into his stomach,
yep.
Come get me, bitch. Or come get him, bitch.
Or even the girl who wanted to be famous and all that. Being obviously in the TV.
That was interesting.
Yeah. That also I feel like is the if you have a quote from the movie, that's probably like even if you've never seen the movie and you've just seen bits. Usually that's in obviously a lot of the little videos that you see that people package like best or whatever and funny moments of Freddy. It's always welcome to prime time, bitch. At least the one that really means anything, because there was his one, I can't remember which, not right now, sure it's going to be one other ones, but when he's playing the Nintendo 64 or whatever he's playing, and he goes, great graphics. But those two actually are two of the coolest deaths in the series I personally say to myself, I don't know where you rank them on for obviously you can't leave out Johnny Depp's death, but I'm saying it's on top 5 for me, both of those deaths to me.
Okay.
I don't know where it reaches for you, but it was very interesting deaths. What do you think about the nun, or we obviously find out later that it's Freddy's mom?
Yeah.
What messed me up is I forgot that, when you've seen them, you see them all in you think some scenes are in one movie, but it's not. When you watch it, I swore there was this one scene, but I think it's in the next one actually, that wasn't this one that involved a nun, but I was like, oh shit, that's not this movie. But what do you feel about the nun? Like, knowing what you know for later on.
I mean, I think it was a good part to it. They put the good with the evil. They try to give some extra to it because Nancy can't do it all.
But what do you feel about, obviously she's dead.
Yeah.
With Freddy not being able to just...
Well, I mean, just that, she's a nun, she's a good, sometimes good things come, to help. I mean, sometimes people have, guardian angels or something like that, just...
I'm just saying, like, is it weird that, Freddy obviously comes to you in your dreams, but she can,
Freddy's a monster, his mom's just a ghost.
True. But also that adds an extra layer to the movie because you got a ghost now. So, no. Why I say that is because if you guys watching this, you don't know later on when the nun has a bigger part. Not want to say bigger part. I'm about to say one part, but find out her story along the way too. So let's get to the final battle when all of them go into the dream when Nancy got fired, and then the other doctor was with Nancy's dad to try to bury the bones. But like the guy in the wheelchair, that goth chick, all of them are trying to go for Joey and try to save her. always being Nightmare on Elm Street fans, we know some of these people ain't making it. Do you think they made the right choices of who they killed?
I mean, they didn't kill very many, honestly.
Well, they killed two, but that's what I'm saying. Do you think the guy in the wheelchair and the goth chick was the right people for them to kill? Do you think, well, obviously you can't really...
I mean, they weren't significant characters. I mean, they were part of the group, but they weren't one of the significant ones.
Yeah. I do love that line by Freddy. It was like, sorry, I don't believe in fairy tales, and he kills the guy in the wheelchair. I said I had a problem with. Oh, we talked about the problem with the skeleton coming to life, and
Yeah.
what doesn't add up to you?
I mean, the skeleton coming back to life.
Well, yeah, but is that kind of like how the nun is a ghost? Like, is that like Freddy's ghost, but like it? Because I mean, we didn't see him ever touch the nun, but we also don't know if he ever could.
I mean, I think it's just his energy in general.
See, I don't understand if he could bring his bones to life. Why wouldn't he just bring himself? You know.
Yeah.
It kind of puts a loophole in the movie, but I mean, it's still not that bad. Like, all things considered, especially compared to what we just watched.
My only issue with this is why did he have his glove if the glove was originally in the furnace?
That's true. That's another, like, maybe you guys can tell us what if you can give a reason, explain why that makes sense. Where, like, either one, the skeleton come to life, or also why he also had the glove when it was supposed to be in the furnace. Then you knew that at no point in time brought the glove back to the site. Okay, let's get into rating it. Well, before that, what do you think about the major death at the end, though?
I mean, I think it was alright. It was appropriate that Nancy killed him. It was appropriate that they finally killed Nancy off, too.
Do you think that was the right call to kill Nancy that early in the series?
Yeah. Because they already messed it up in the second movie.
Yeah. I do like how they did kill her, because I'm like, okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah, like, let's not make this about Nancy. Let's make it, I mean, I don't know if they even knew that they were going to keep on going after this movie, because, you know, they could have been a dud at the theaters.
Yeah.
You know, like, the reason why there hasn't been another Nightmare on Elm Street, because of the remake, you know. The remake didn't do good enough for people to make a sequel to it. Now let's get into rate it. 1, what do you rate it out of 10? And where do you rate it in the series? High or low?
I don't want to do a rating of the series yet because we haven't finished the series.
Okay.
But I'll give this a 5.
A 5? Now, I won't lie. This is the one, besides the original, it's the original, Part 3, and New Nightmare is the 3 I've seen the most of the series. Mainly because they're the easiest ones to get. So, I do really enjoy this movie because I haven't seen it enough times. And besides this time noticing Kristin Screaming and all that, where it kind of got on my nerves, I still enjoy the movie. I still enjoy the effects, even if logic doesn't make really too much sense on this one. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5 because I really do enjoy it. Anyways, what I got to say about that? Well, another video down. We don't know about part 4. We got to get us talking and figure out. She got, according to Mrs. Kruger, is a big, I always fuck that up. Mrs. Kruger is a big hockey fan.
Predators fan.
Yeah. Doesn't mean anything. You know, not saying we got any stalkers or anything. But, yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to any of the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. I'm almost up to 60. I'm really happy about that. Thank you, everybody, too. Thank you to everybody that I know in person. If I do know you in person, because either you wrote me and told me, like, hey, I subscribed. Thank you. Just write if you're a new subscriber, and let's get to know each other. I want to make this kind of like a family. You know, you reach out to me and we start talking. We can just get to know each other and make this like a giant family with everybody. Think of me like your second cousin twice removed kind of thing. But anyways, this has been another episode of the Audio Critics. I'm Philip the Pressure Collins. This is Mrs. Kruger. Tune in again. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Got any last words?
Sleep well at night.
Stay classy.